This is truly a blessing to be able to celebrate our veterans in this manner. Let's go ahead and begin our presentation. So if you could, please rise for the presentation of colors by the Caldwell High School FFA. Please remain standing for our pledges, led by the Caldwell Junior High Beta Club officers, followed immediately by the national anthem performed by the Caldwell High School Band.
If you would please join us for the American and Texas pledges. American flag, attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now for the Texas flag, attention, salute, pledge.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you to our wonderful Caldwell High School Band under the direction of Director Cody Knott. We will be hearing from them here again shortly. Good morning, CHS faculty, staff, students, and guests. First and foremost, let's begin today by recognizing all those among us who have been a part of the great brotherhood and sisterhood we call the United States military. Our veterans, active duty service members, guardsmen, and reservists. Your service and sacrifice have kept our country safe and free. If you're able, please stand at this time and be recognized. Thank you, veterans, for your service, and thank you, Caldwell High School, for the warm regards. Much appreciated. Veterans Day is special to all of us, as we all experience freedoms from the sacrifices of the men and women who have served and are currently serving our country. All too often, we get caught up in the fast-paced lifestyle that many of us lead and forget to recognize the blessings that we are afforded simply by being an American. This day allows us to pause and reflect in a manner that provides recognition for the men and women who defend our right to be free. This Veterans Day presentation will feature a few guest speakers and performances that will highlight the beauty of America. With no further ado, please give a hand to our very own Caldwell High School Honeybees as they perform Main Street America. Put a round of applause to our honeybees. They did a great job. Today, we are honored to have a couple of guest speakers here with us, and we're honored to have Mr. Karasik speak to us. Mr. Karasik is a veteran who served in both the Army and National Guard. While on active duty, Mr. Karasik served as well in the Vietnam War. For 10 years, he has served in the Veterans Affairs in Burleson County. He's going to come up and say a few words and introduce Mr. Pinkerton, who is another one of our guest speakers. So at this time, Mr. Karasik, if you could join me on stage, please.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to thank the school board, administration, and staff of the Caldwell Schools for hosting us today. Thanks to all for doing the opening ceremonies. The veterans here today represent the American Legion, Disabled Veterans, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars organizations here in Caldwell, and all our veterans of Burleson County. As Mr. Turner, Dr. Turner introduced me as being the county service officer, I represent 1,300 veterans. I have the job as Burleson County Service Officer to help these veterans and their families with their benefits. Again, thank you for inviting us here today for this program. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, an armistice between Germany and the Allied nations came into effect. On November 11, 1919, Armistice Day was commemorated for the first time. In 1919, President Wilson proclaimed the day should be filled with solemn pride and gratitude for heroism of those who died in the country's service for the victory of World War I. In 1926, the United States Congress officially recognized the end of World War I and declared the anniversary of Armistice should be commemorated with prayer and thanksgiving. The Congress also requested that the President should issue a proclamation calling for the officials to display the flag of the United States and inviting people of the United States to observe the day in schools and churches and other suitable places, with appropriate ceremonies of friendly relations with all peoples. On May 13, 1938, November 11th was known as Armistice Day, originally intended to honor veterans of World War I. A few years later, World War II required the largest mobilization of servicemen in the history of the United States. American forces also fought in Korea. In 1954, veterans organizations urged Congress to change the word armistice to veterans. This was approved by Congress on June the 1st, 1954. November 11th became a day of honor for all American veterans, wherever and whenever they served. As I mentioned, the World War II vets, we're almost to the end of the greatest generation. A veteran is something special. He or she became something special the moment he or she slipped into his or her uniform. The fact that he or she was selected to serve put them in a class by themselves. The fact that he or she was committed to fight to the death for freedom around the world is what made him or her special. Today, we're honored to have an Army veteran of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars to speak today. U.S. Army First Lieutenant Joshua Pinkerton. Josh is a 1993 Somerville High School graduate. He received his bachelor's degree of kinesiology and education from Texas A&M. He was hired as a math teacher and a science teacher and a coach at Caldwell Middle School in 1998. He later received his master's degree in education, leadership, and counseling. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Medical Service Corps of the Texas National Guard after completing a 21-month program at Camp Swift in Bastrop. In 2008, he graduated from OCS as a logistics officer. After September 11, 2001, y'all know what happened that day, he joined the U.S. Army as a combat medic and was deployed to Iraq for 13 months with the 25th Infantry Division. He came home and then was deployed to Afghanistan. His son Jared is now a member of the Texas A&M Band, Corps of Cadets, and with intentions of being in the Air Force. His daughter attends Caldwell High School and played volleyball, number 11. When Caldwell High had their 1998 state volleyball team, Josh was the athletic trainer and has a tattoo to prove it. So it's my honor at this time to welcome home to a grateful nation, state, county, city, school. Thank you for your service, Joshua Pinkerton. Please come on.
Thank you, Mr. Karasik. I'm going to try to speak. I'm not used to speaking in one spot, so I'm going to do my best because I usually move a little bit. As Mr. Karasik said, I am from the area, and I'd like to speak a little bit about how I became a veteran and what it means to me. First, I got to say hi, Jackie, hi, Corey. Wait, all right. So I know if I didn't recognize them, they might be mad at me later. So like I said, I did graduate from Somerville in 1993. I know it was many, many years ago. I was nothing special. I played football. I was a pretty decent student, nothing outstanding. I went to Blinn right after high school to try to transition, then transferred into A&M, got a degree in education, and I wanted to become a teacher and a coach. That's all I wanted to do. I had no aspirations to join the military whatsoever. I didn't think it was for me, honestly. And I remember sitting, it was in September, and I was teaching at the middle school, like the old middle school, which I'm not sure what school it is now, but in Coach Cochran's room. How many of y'all have had Coach Cochran? Yeah. So I was in his classroom during the attacks of September 11th. And I remember I just came out of athletics, and I had young men and women. It was 8th grade science I was teaching, and they were looking at me and saying, "Coach Pink, what is going to happen?" And I looked to them and I could not tell them. Now, I had a very small family and a very, let's say, different upbringing. So my students and my teachers that I worked with, they were my family, and I wanted to protect them. It was a very difficult situation. So Mr. McManus was the principal at the time, and later on, I told her that I would finish out the school year, but I was joining the military. And then I did. I joined the Army, became a medic, and swiftly went to Iraq. Served in Iraq for a very long time, 13, 15 months. I'm really not sure. But I did that to protect the students that I left and the members of the faculty that I'd worked with. So, and I know we have some here. So if you worked with me during that time, or if I ever taught you or coached you, raise your hand. There's a few of them, because I see now that we got teachers, it might be at the other districts too, that they were actually my students back then, and now they're teaching. And actually, Mr. Grosick, Coach Giese, or Miss Coach Giese, she was one of my students as well. So that's why I joined the military. But I missed my family a little bit, so I wanted to come back home, but I still wanted to serve. So I joined the National Guard, and that's the National Guard where they say you get 1 week in a month and 2 weeks during the summer, and you still get to serve. Well, I did that, and it's one of those performance punishments. You do really good, and they find more stuff for you to do. So I quickly went to Afghanistan again back in 2012. And that was my last tour in 2014. And I retired in 2015. It was some of the best service that I had. I had people ask me several times a couple of questions. One, was I ever scared? Yes. I can tell you, it's God's honest truth, there were times that I was scared. And I've told my children this, that Superman is not brave. And they look at me like I'm crazy. It says, he's the man of steel, he can do anything. That's the reason Superman is not brave. It's the men and women, the children, the kids that get up every day, they get dressed, and they do their absolute best, knowing that something bad could happen to them at any point. That's what makes them brave. Superman is not brave. He's the man of steel. Nothing can hurt him, okay? But it's the soldiers and students, just like yourself, that get up every day and come to school and work. Those are the ones that are brave. So yes, was I scared? Definitely. Was I trying to be brave? Most definitely. Second thing was, they'd ask, is would I do it again? In a heartbeat. No doubt about it. I would raise my hand and volunteer. And you have to understand that. Everybody that's in the military, nobody is forced to do. We all raise our hand and we volunteer to serve our country. And I would do that in a heartbeat. The men and the women that I worked with and served with, they are my family. I speak to them today, every day, and talk to them. And they are what we call each other, we call battles. And no matter what it is, like, hey, Battle, how you doing? They could call me in an instant, in the middle of the night, and say, Battle, I got a flat tire and I'm in New York. I'll catch a flight and I'll get there. It's a brotherhood and that sisterhood that you'll never have with anything else. Sports gets close to it, but it's not the same thing. And the last question I asked, because I was a teacher and a counselor for a while, and students asked me before, says, should I join the military? And I always tell them, it is completely up to you. But if you go into the military, make sure you get something out of it. You're going to give up your time. You're going to give up part of your life. You're going to give up a lot of your freedoms to join the military. But when you get out, because eventually every soldier gets out, or airman or sailor, I'm not trying to be anything. But when you get out, you have to have something to fall back on in life. Luckily now, I was a medic when I was in the Army. I really enjoyed it. I was in education for a while. I enjoyed that. And administrators will tell you, when I became a principal, I got so far away from kids that I didn't enjoy it anymore. So I went and I became a nurse. So now I am probably the ugliest nurse you've ever seen, but I am one, and I enjoy helping people every day. And if it wasn't for my military training that I had, I don't think I would be as successful today for it. With that being said, I know I had 3 goals for today, is to be relevant, be brief, and be funny. I know I'm going to be brief, so I appreciate y'all and thank y'all for your support.
What an honor it is to have 2 former service members come up to the podium and speak on behalf of what they know. And I say know because of their lived experiences. Those are things that I could sit at my computer and try to draft something and get real wordy with it, but it could never get to the truth like these 2 gentlemen were able to share with us. And so I'm grateful for them taking their time out of their day to come speak to us, and I really appreciate that. And not only are they outstanding servicemen, but they are from Caldwell, and I think that speaks volumes. So thank you men for your time today and your words to our student body. Much appreciated. All right, so now it's time. We're going to sit back and we're going to enjoy the playing of America the Beautiful by the Caldwell High School Band, the Pride of Caldwell. Please welcome one of our very own, Tess Homeyer, as she thanks our veterans for their service. Tess is a senior who is representing the Caldwell High School National Honor Society and student body. Tess was selected to speak as she embodies the many qualities that exemplify the core values of CHS.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Caldwell High School's Veterans Day ceremony, and thank you all for attending. I'm honored to be speaking with you today on such an important occasion. We're here today to honor our service members and to remember their sacrifices they have made and the courage it took to defend honor, duty, and our country. We're here today to honor our heroes, to remember their achievements, their courage, and their dedication, and to say thank you for all of their sacrifices. The service members we honor today came from all walks of life, but they shared several fundamental qualities. They possessed courage, pride, determination, selflessness, dedication to duty, and integrity, all the qualities needed to serve a cause larger than oneself. Many of them didn't ask to leave their homes to fight on distant battlefields. Many didn't even volunteer. They didn't go to war because they loved fighting. They were called to be a part of something bigger than themselves. They were ordinary people who responded in extraordinary ways in extreme times. They rose to the nation's call because they wanted to protect a nation which has given them and us so much. Since the first shots at Lexington and Concord were fired and our Revolutionary War began, American men and women have been answering the nation's call to duty. Millions of Americans have fought and died on battlefields here and abroad to defend our freedoms and our way of life. Today, our troops continue to make the ultimate sacrifices. And even as we lose troops, more Americans step forward to say, "I'm ready to serve." President George Washington once said, "The willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by their nation." We have awarded medals to many soldiers, added their names to monuments, and named buildings after them to honor them for their bravery. But nothing can ever replace the hole left behind by a fallen service member, and no number of medals or ribbons can comfort the ones that were left behind. Today, people throughout the country will gather together to remember, to honor, and to pay gratitude to those who have served our country. Our gathering is just one small spark in the flame of pride that burns across the nation today and every day. It's not a lot, but it's one small way we can honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can live in freedom. It is now our responsibility to each take a part in protecting that freedom. Your presence here today and that of the people gathering all across America is a tribute to those lost troops and to their families. It is a way to say that we remember. From the soldiers who shivered and starved through the winter at Valley Forge, to the doughboys crouched in the muddy trenches of France, to the platoon who patrolled the hazy jungles of Vietnam, and the young man or woman patrolling the mountains of Afghanistan, we remember and honor them all. Historians have said that Dwight Eisenhower was prouder of being a soldier than he was of being the president. And while relatively few veterans ever reach the rank of general, pride in one's military service is a bond shared by nearly all who have served. From the Revolutionary War to the current war on terror, men and women from all walks of life have shared the common bond of their oath to defend this nation, no matter the danger or the enemy. And for this, we owe them a debt of gratitude, not just today, but every day. On behalf of Caldwell High School, thank you for attending today. God bless you and your families, God bless our troops, and God bless America. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Tess. That was outstanding. Great words there. So at this time, we do have the Caldwell Intermediate School Choir, who is going to be performing a couple of pieces, American Tears and Yankee Doodle Boy. So at this time, please welcome the Caldwell Intermediate School Choir.
Struggles through the years.
What an amazing performance, and we're still not done. We have, we're going to do a service medley. It's going to be a joint combination between the Caldwell Intermediate School Choir and our very own Caldwell High School Band.
If you are a veteran that served in a certain branch that we play, please stand. If you have family members that are currently serving or have served in that branch, please stand as well.
I just want to personally thank once again all of our guest speakers and performers today that made this presentation possible. This morning's presentation was moving, and it is my hope that we leave this auditorium with a full heart and appreciation for the men and women who serve our country each and every day. I would like to extend an opportunity for you to express your gratitude for these amazing individuals. In the foyer, outside of the auditorium are some blank papers that you can express some words of gratitude to our service members. You can even share some of the things that we did this morning in their honor. Once completed, please give them to Ms. Easter no later than Friday at 4 o'clock. We will be sending them in one large package to service members and veterans so they know how much we appreciate them. Thank you and God bless. We have one more performance by the band. It's going to be a taps performance, and then you're going to stay seated, and I am going to dismiss everybody in a particular order just for safety because we are a packed house today. Thank you.